views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
When it comes to transforming our lives, we need to have a warrior mindset. Angela Watson Robertson, the Reinvention Warrior, is here for the next hour to help you become just that. Join Angela as she fights for you to become a Reinvention Warrior and transform all areas of your life. Plus, she'll talk to the best masters in the transformation business and discover their tips and tools for positive change. Stay tuned because you're listening to Masters of Reinvention with Angela Watson Robertson, the ultimate guide to changing your life. Get ready because that change starts now.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, we got a great show for you today. I'm really super excited about introducing you to a fabulous, fabulous new show and a brilliant conversation. Actually, we've got two of them today. Today, you're tuning in to Masters of Reinvention with Angela Watson Robertson, the ultimate guide to changing your life. But before I do that, I got to make an adjustment on my little mic. Benny. Uh-oh.
You didn't break it, did you?
I pulled it out of the thing.
Hang on, I'll be over in a minute.
I'm going to get the other. Should I get the other mic?
I'll get it.
Uh-oh. We have a situation. Which mic?
That other one.
Hello? Okay, put this
Push
guy.
that one. We have to push that one.
Wow. I was so excited. Oh, wait, it's following me. They're oh my God. The mic that I broke was like attached to my mic. It was like following me around. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what happens in the world of fun, right, Benny?
Living on the edge.
Living on the edge, baby. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. I think we need to reinvent these microphones or something over
Talk
here.
to our boss man about that one.
Talk to like the millions of boss men that we have here today. Yeah. This is what I love. For those of you listening, and you're watching, I don't know if you're watching on the video, whatever you're doing, I did break that microphone attachment thing. After 14 years, I deserve one little push it too hard and pull the microphone off the thing. 14 years. Benny's going to fix it. But joining me here today is someone that knows a lot about pushing things too hard. Yep. And something's going to break. Something's going to break. That's why today's show, Fatigue Warrior, how to boost energy naturally, feel great, and get your life back. It's kind of like, if we're talking about this with Angela, who is the host of Masters of Reinvention, Angela Watson Robertson, then we're talking about what happens when we're at the break point of fatigue, and something like that happens where you could actually go, and I can't cuss on air, but you can actually go out of your mind. You could go out of your mind. It would be like watching Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and be like, I can't really give spoiler alert, and find out that your dad is simply crazy. But here we are today because fatigue affects all of us. It affects us in many, many, many ways. Those of you that are listening, you know what I'm talking about. You may not want to think about what fatigue is, or you may not want to think about, like, how does it work in terms of our lives. But we've become so dang normalized that we think that fatigue is the new normal. But joining me here today to set the record straight is Angela Watson Robertson. And by the way, she's got a solution as well. Her show is amazing. And she has been on the cover of 2 magazines taking the message across the world about Fatigue Warrior no more. No more. She's worked with coaches, professionals, moms, business owners who are at the turning point in their lives, ready to grow and learn and evolve like never before. But even when you just cannot think there's one more thing to do, what you've got to know is that she is known as America's Reinvention Warrior, and she's going to come forward with a solution. She's a board-certified international health coach, International Association of Health Coaches, but that's only the tip of the iceberg of what she can do to help. Today, relax, get ready for some insight, get ready to become warrior-like, and get ready to learn about how you can be the fatigue warrior. Angela, it's great to have you here.
Hey, Pat, I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, what do you think about me breaking that microphone after 14 years for the first time?
I think it's perfect. You know, these things happen for a reason, right? And hopefully we made everybody laugh a little, so that's good.
Well, Benny's smiling. That's all I'm concerned about. You know, there's another one bites the dust.
Yes.
But something like that, this is a typical example of what can happen in a day, especially if you're in my world and Benny's world and doing as many shows as we do in front of as many people as we are. We can push ourselves over the stress limit. What happens when that happens?
Yeah, I mean, if we push our bodies too hard and we're stressed to the max for too long of a time, we all have stress here and there, we have stressful days, but if we continue to have day after day of that intense stress and we're really pushing our bodies too much, we can throw off our hormone systems and really affect our health and our entire body. And we could potentially have issues like fatigue, chronic fatigue and adrenal fatigue, which is what I really work with people on.
Let's talk about adrenal fatigue if we could, because that thing is a showstopper. See, it's one thing to be like, oh, I'm so tired. Benny and I were talking about the weekend, and we were talking about, okay, had a great weekend, doing whatever we did over the weekend, but had to come home and go to bed, right? And that's different than adrenal fatigue. What is it? And tell us, how do we figure out what's dysregulated? I'm dang tired from eating too many of them hot dogs and hamburgers. Right, Benny's laughing. Or my system is breaking down.
Yeah, so I do get that question a lot. So, a client will say, hey, I feel tired. Does that necessarily mean I have an issue? What is the difference between just having low energy and adrenal fatigue? So, most of us feel tired given our demanding jobs and all our responsibilities in our modern lives. And this is why so many Americans experience adrenal fatigue during their lifetime. So the issue is to what intensity and to what duration your tiredness continues. So feeling tired can become chronic low energy. It could eventually become adrenal fatigue or adrenal failure if new habits aren't formed or changes made to your lifestyle. So there's kind of a difference, and it can vary from person to person. But, really to help the listeners understand, if they're saying, hey, what is this adrenal fatigue thing? I've never even heard of this before. Adrenal fatigue occurs when the adrenal glands, which are those small lumps of tissue located directly above your kidneys, when they become triggered. And the primary trigger for adrenal glands is stress. So stress is not just, hey, I'm about to get on the radio and be live. It is kind of that continual stress kind of internally in your body, which is related to an overproduction of hormones. So your adrenal glands produce hormones that are critical to feeling well. So they produce adrenaline and cortisol, and they produce hormones that regulate the production of your sex hormones as estrogen and testosterone. So when you're stressed for a long period of time, and when your adrenal glands are triggered and overextended, then they're going to produce an extra amount of those hormones like adrenaline. And that's where we get into problems. If we have too much adrenaline or too much cortisol when we don't really need it, so not when we're running from danger, or having something dramatic or traumatic happen, when it's just an average day, but our body thinks we're in severe stress and we're producing all that hormone, that's when over time our body can be just really run down, and our adrenal glands will eventually become damaged from being so hyperactive.
And, let's talk for a minute about what that means, about what happens when our adrenals become damaged, because this is one of the most important aspects of our body system to fully understand. And clearly, you have ways to figure out if that's happening within an individual. What are some, can you give us a rundown of what to look out for?
Yeah, so what you're kind of asking is a little bit about the adrenal fatigue diagnosis process, and if people are asking, do I have it? How do I know? And, diagnosis of adrenal fatigue can be a little bit tricky. So if I'm working with someone, the first thing I'm going to do is learn about their life as much as I can. So learn about their lifestyle, their sleep habits, their diet, and also some functional lab tests that can be done by some functional medicine or integrated health providers can really help us. Testing some markers of adrenal function like cortisol and DHEA. The problem sometimes with these lab tests is that your primary care doctor may run those and you still may be quote unquote in range, yet you still are suffering. You still sense there's something not right. For a long period of time, you're just exhausted all the time. So the blood levels in these lab tests alone don't provide clear evidence that leads to a diagnosis. So usually what I say is in combination with the intuition of the person, because people usually know when something's off, and I just compare that to their symptoms and their lifestyle in addition to those lab reports, and that's where we can really say, hey, it seems like your adrenals are sluggish, or maybe you have adrenal fatigue. Another thing is a lot of the recommendations that I give through my program and when I work with clients one-on-one, those are things that anybody who wants to be healthier is going to want to implement. And if you notice that you start to feel better and get your energy back when you implement a lot of these, chances are you had some sluggish or lower adrenal function.
Okay, so one of the things that I think is so important for us to cover is this idea, right? If we look at adrenals and we look at what happens with that, we also want to look at, what does that mean? What does chronic low energy mean? Remember at the beginning, this was something that I had discovered along the way. And that was that, listen, I've created now a new normal. And my new normal is now fatigue. And that's where you help people reinvent themselves so that they can not plug in to a new normal that's going to literally run them down. Let's take a short break. When we come back, how to reinvent your health and your life. How do you know that fatigue is your normal? And what can you do to reinvent it? Stay tuned, everybody. Angela Watson Robertson joining me here today. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Hey, did you know why they call the foundation? It's called the foundation because it completely eliminates your foundation for what you thought your reality was and creates a whole new space where you can have an entirely new reality that is foundationless. So from my point of view, they should call it the unfoundation or the foundationlessness. Either way, there's a big new global rewrite happening again because these guys cannot stop changing. There should be like a Change Anonymous that Gary and Dane go to. and it's happening April 28th to May 1st. You can find out about it at accessconsciousness.com/global foundation. It's happening in Paris. Go to Paris, or do it online, or find a pod near you. These are all the options you have. And what else is possible?
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. It's so great to have all of you tune us in, turn us on. It's so great to be here with Angela because we love launching new shows, and we have got a ton of them. So excited about this time we're living in and bringing all of you exactly what you wanted more of. Because when we turn around, there are a couple of surveys that get done. One is by AM 1150. KKNW, they do surveys, and people say, I want more of this. I want less of that. I want more of this. Well, you actually said, okay, you want more of this, and we're bringing it to you. Then we do our own survey, and we ask you, what would you like us to do differently? And we put that in play. So what we have is a show today, which is Masters of Reinvention, host of the show, internationally known, Angela Watson Robertson. This is your ultimate guide to changing your life. Now, for those of you, you're probably looking and Googling Fatigue Warrior, and yeah, you're going to find her on the cover of several magazines because this is something that people want to hear more about. And so what Angela has done, as she has created a way for everybody to say, Fatigue Warrior no more. No, actually, fatigue no more, Fatigue Warrior. Bring it on. Angela, what is the best way for people to find out more about you before we jump back into this conversation here?
Of course. So to learn more about the Fatigue Warrior course and to register, go to fatiguewarrior.com. And also, if you want a sneak peek of the program, listeners can download my free Fatigue Warrior guide, which is basically my 5-step solution to fight adrenal fatigue naturally. And you can do so by joining my newsletter on my main website at angelawatsonrobertson.com.
I love it. Now, listen, you are out in the world, out and about, not only talking to people in the field of change and reinvention, but you're also talking to people about the Fatigue Warrior. The bottom line is there's got to be a way for people to reinvent their health and reinvent their lives. Because you know what? My insight from being really, really sick for actually a long time is that is not fun. And to not have a solution or know where to start and to walk around literally fatigued 24/7, that just brings a whole different way of the world to you. Now, good news for me is I'm also Dr. Positivity, as the listeners like to call me. So that helped me through it. But it did not help my body. So tell me, how do we reinvent our health?
Well, I help people who are tired of being tired. So often these people have adrenal fatigue, but they may not know it. And it sounds like you've had experience with fatigue in your life, and me too. You know, years ago when I was working in a very busy and fast-paced sales job, I ended up finding out I had adrenal fatigue. And I was just like many listeners. And I said, well, what is this adrenal fatigue thing? And then it began a journey. And over the past 5 years, I've really learned a lot and been able to figure out what works best for my body and then help a lot of people feel better as well. And many people don't think adrenal fatigue is a concern or that it even exists. So, I was recently talking to someone and they said fatigue is like the foreplay of illness. So I think fatigue is kind of a precursor to inflammation. And inflammation, as we now know, is connected to so many other health problems. So, what I tell people when they say, hey, where do I start, is often I'm an integrated nutrition health coach. So I'm going to say, let's start with diet. So let's start with putting in foods that are really going to boost your energy and then getting rid of any foods and trying to stay away from the foods that are going to drain your energy. And that's kind of the first step in kind of a comprehensive process.
Yeah. Yeah, I was the one with the foreplay of illness only because that was my experience of it. And what's really cool about it? Because that's the way I thought about it. We get seduced, Angela. We get seduced into thinking that this notion of fatigue, if I could only work harder, if I could only do more, isn't that totally like the wrong direction to go in? That's why it's so seductive. Yeah. That's why I said that. The foreplay of illness, because it's so seductive, we don't even see we are on our pathway to illness.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of I like to help clients identify the messages of the body. And sometimes these messages can be really quiet. There's these little whispers. And so we have to take time to really listen to those whispers our bodies are saying, like, hey, I need some attention here and there. And I think in that same conversation, you and I were talking about how fatigue can kind of be like the frog in a pot of water on the stove. The frog doesn't notice as the water keeps heating up, and eventually it's coming to a boil, and it's too late. Although I don't believe it's too late if people do have severe adrenal fatigue, but it can feel like that because then you're in a real health crisis.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that there's part one and part two, as Jessica would say, there's thing one and thing two. One of the things is this idea of becoming a reinvention warrior, because that is so pertinent to the times we live in for all aspects of our lives. What is that? What is it? What does it mean to become a reinvention warrior?
Yeah, so a reinvention warrior is someone who will do whatever it takes to create a life they love. And for me, I often say, hey, if you want to reinvent yourself, we need to start with your health. And maybe somebody already has, a great state of health, so then you move on to other things. But most Americans and a lot of people I talk to, they first need to look at some health areas that they want to work on. They want to feel more energy. They want to feel excited to get up in the morning. And so we start there. And a reinvention warrior, in my experience, is somebody who's willing to take risks, to grow, evolve, and change. Somebody who's open to new ways of thinking and being in the world. And somebody who's committed to being the best version of themselves each day. So to be a reinvention warrior, we don't have to be, necessarily like Wonder Woman, that recent movie. We don't have to be, huge and strong and, a queen or a princess, or famous necessarily. Maybe to reinvent your life is to just start, drinking more water, or to start eating more of a whole foods diet. Or maybe it's changing the way you're thinking and talking to yourself every day. Maybe that's how you reinvent yourself.
I was listening to the show. What's a show that was on before here?
Finding the Gifts with Lee Kaplanian.
Yep. And I was listening to the show, and you know how you always hear what you're meant to hear when you're meant to hear it?
Yes.
And one of the things that was said during the show was, listen, there are things that you do not have control of. So you got to give that to God, your higher power, whatever you believe in. And isn't that part of this as well? You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. And then know, okay, it's not good, it's not bad, it just is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm known as a reinvention warrior because I've reinvented my life and my health, more times than I can count. And, one quote that I really love by George Bernard Shaw is, life isn't about finding yourself, which we often hear people say, I'm going to go find myself. But life is about creating yourself. So for me, that starts with, how you feel mentally, emotionally, and physically. And it starts with health. And I would say, to your second part of your question, the most important kind of first step to reinvention is to identify your priorities and your values and make sure that the majority of what is on your calendar and on your bank statement, so what you spend your time and money on, is in alignment with the values and priorities that you have right now in your life. And they're going to constantly be changing.
What is it that happens when the light bulb kind of is not quite on yet, but you know you're on your way to discovering that you got to change something? What are some of the signs of that? And, people think, I got to go through a lot of pain and agony. Some people may believe that for spiritual growth, but sometimes we have to change something up before we're at the bottom.
Yeah. Chances are, if someone is asking themselves, do I need to change, right? Do I need to reinvent myself? If you're at a crossroads, or, even if you don't necessarily feel like you're at a huge crossroads in your life, but you're asking yourself, I wonder if I need to change something. Chances are, if you're asking yourself that, you probably do. And that doesn't mean, necessarily quitting your job or ending your relationship. As I mentioned before, it could be simply a shift in perception. It could be a miracle as it's defined in A Course in Miracles. And another quote by Marianne Williamson that kind of answers that question a little bit is, you must learn a new way to think before you can master a new way to be. So that's where sometimes that first step, or kind of that first little nudge, is, hey, what am I thinking? And that can be connected also to, gratitude, which I know you and I have talked about a lot.
Well, we're going to take a short break, because part of this, Angela, is making sure that we have the tools. Now, I will tell you this. I haven't shared in detail on air my whole experience starting in 2004 with my health. But someday that story is going to be shared. The reason I can't share it, because it went on for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But there are parts of it that I know you're going to help us with today. The other thing is, I realized somebody that thought pretty much I could live my life all by myself, be independent. I got this, right? I got this. You know that I got this. I could not do it alone. And that's why you've created this program, the Fatigue Warrior, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the Fatigue Warrior program is really, it kind of was created out of my own journey. So, when I realized that I had adrenal fatigue, and I was looking for resources, and I was talking to some of my doctors and talking to some of my other practitioners about it, I realized that there wasn't necessarily a comprehensive solution out there that was a combination of someone really holding my hand through the process, and also a lot of information that had been really carefully researched and presented to me. And I also got very frustrated because many people I talked to kind of thought I was either making something up, or they didn't take me seriously. So I said, it'd be really great to offer to people a home study course where they can, learn and study on their own time, but then also allow them coaching via email and over the phone. And then I do think supplements are important as well. So that's why I've added in supplements to my program, because there are a few supplements I think everybody should take for optimal health. So it's kind of a great way for somebody to work one-on-one with someone, but to also get a lot of information that they can go through on their own time to really, take their health into their own hands.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to hear about what are some of the things we can do to start making our change, to begin the reinvention process now. Angela Watson Robertson in the house. Let's take a short break, everybody. We'll be right back.
Plus live your purpose equals joy. That's the motto of Unstuck Joy with Vicki Todd. Vicki believes you were born with gifts that are meant to make the world brighter. Each show will feature an art visioning journal prompt to help you create your way to soul clarity. If you're ready to get unstuck and create more joy, this show is for you. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit VickiWorldArt.com.
A word of caution, if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
In this day and age, if you don't reinvent yourself, you may never find balance, peace, and the sustainable life that is your birthright. Angela Watson Robertson, known as the Reinvention Warrior and the host of breakthrough radio show Masters of Reinvention, is here to help you reinvent every area of your life. Tune in and hear from the best in the personal transformation business and discover tips and tools for positive change. Live every month on Transformation Talk Radio.
TheAngelLady.net. 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 1-800-323-1790. 1-800-323-1790. Sue Storm. TheAngelLady.net.
Isn't it time to put your health first? To give yourself the gift of whole body wellness? What if embracing unconditional love and self-care was the first step to wellness? Could you honor that for yourself? My name is Audrey Michelle, host of Rewired Life Radio and the author of Rewired Life, A Journey to Untangle Chronic Pain and Endometriosis. In my book, I share how I healed from 17 years of chronic pain and disease. Get your signed copy at audreymichelle.com/book, spelled MICHEL.com/book.
Amber Teal, founder of The Healthy Edge, is bringing you the hit show Healthy Edge Radio, living with power, passion, and purpose. Amber provides the support and tools necessary for you to finally release the weight and emotions that are hidden beneath the weight. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information on how you can take the next step with Amber, visit getthehealthyedge.com.
I think he says I'm a vegetable, right? Is that what he's saying?
I almost
that
thought
I'm a
that too.
vegetable.
He's a vegetable.
He's I'm a vegetable.
Yeah, you gotta eat your greens.
Yeah, if you're not going to eat them, you might as well become them.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Well,
that's hard to
I
climb
like
out
that.
of that one.
Isn't that a nice quote?
I know.
If you're not going to eat them, you might as well be it. Might as well be that. Might as well be that spinach you ain't eating, folks. That's it. Be the spinach. Yeah. Yeah. I got a new quote now. You ready? Never mind. I'm just going to go. So, Angela, I'm going to go so off track here right now, and I do not want to do that. Jessica, don't text me. I'm getting back on track. Today, everybody, Masters of Reinvention, Angela Watson Robertson. Today is our premiere show, Fatigue Warrior, how to boost energy naturally, feel great, and get your life back. So far, what we've talked about is adrenal fatigue. How do you know you have it? And then how are you going to reinvent yourself? Why would you even want to do that? We've already touched on that. And by the way, you're going to hear lots more from Angela on that. But, you've also, again, I want to mention the Fatigue Warrior, the program, because I was never able to get my act together by myself. I thought I could. I did try for a year, but then the Angel Lady set me straight. So tell us about the program and how people can find out more about it.
Of course. So to register for the course and learn more about it, listeners can go to fatiguewarrior.com. I also have a free sneak peek of the program, which is a free download that you can get from my main website. It's my 5-step solution to fight adrenal fatigue naturally. And you can get that on my main website at angelawatsonrobertson.com.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about the simple changes you can make. And to do them right now, because sometimes when we get past the point of sleep being enough, we don't really have a sense of how do I get back? How do I get back? How do I get myself focused? How do I get to the place where I absolutely think I could feel better now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I get that question a lot. What are the first few things I can do, or what are some baby steps? Because as a coach, I don't want to tell clients, hey, let's go completely change every area of your life, or you need to completely revamp everything that you eat and everything you do. You start, with baby steps. So there are kind of 2 dietary changes that I recommend that people make right away. And this is specifically going to help with balancing your blood sugar, which will help with your hormones, which will also help with sleep. So the first thing is to drink a daily whole food smoothie, which is going to really help maintain your blood sugar throughout the day. And on my website at angelawatsonrobertson.com, I do have the recipe of the current smoothie that I drink every day. And the second thing is a daily celery juice, like a fresh celery juice every morning on an empty stomach. Now, of course, I'm a nutrition health coach, so I'm going to focus first on diet because I think that's super important. But as you continue to start to feel better after you implement some of these small changes, then that's where in the program, when I work one-on-one with people, we really eventually start to work on a lot broader topics. But diet is kind of the first thing I recommend people do right away.
How do we, let's just go through that simply, real simple, because I know this for myself. Jessica and I, we know this. We've started to implement some things in our lives. I'd say over the past 6 months or year. I don't know. We looked at each other and we said, oh boy, we got to move our body. So off we went. I'm not doing what she's doing, but I'm doing enough of my own. I get a little white ball around with a bunch of people at the senior center up in Everett. So I'm happy with that.
Great.
Jessica's doing some obstacle course thing, but it still doesn't really help us around what we put in our body. We have to really look at picking a couple things, right? From each area. It's like going for a 2-mile walk and then not drinking water.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. There is, so you're mentioning exercise, really moving your body, which is huge. And, I do recommend that people start with diet because it's one of those areas that you'll be able to notice pretty quickly within a day or two that you're feeling better. But I do think, exercise and everything, it's a holistic approach, the program that I work with people on. And one thing, it's interesting, I thought about my own personal experience with my own health journey and adrenal fatigue is that I actually, when I learned that I had adrenal fatigue, I already had a pretty good diet. So, it needed some tweaks here and there. I learned that I had some food intolerances, but I already had a good diet and I was taking some really great high quality supplements. But my life was so filled with stress and I had a lot of negativity. So I was constantly, saying kind of not as positive self-talk to myself and my job was just really not in alignment with what I wanted to be doing. So even though I had a great diet, I was taking great supplements and I was a yoga teacher on the side. So I was doing yoga as well because my career wasn't really, fueling me. And it was not only doing that, it was sucking me dry. I still, came down with having an issue with adrenal fatigue. So that's where all of this is connected. So you want to really look at all those different areas of your life. And, there isn't just one kind of quick fix. All right, I'm going to drink my smoothie and then I'll feel better. All these things are connected. That's why it's a holistic approach.
Yeah, it is. And there are some things to learn in the journey, especially like what smoothie might you have on certain days. And that's important too. Of course, my best friend and colleague, Dr. Ronnie DeLuz, is like I don't even understand how she knows how to put ingredients, but that's what you do too. And there are certain things we want to put in our bodies and certain things we may not want to put in, even if they make that smoothie taste better, Angela.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's where, when it comes to smoothies and there's the juicing and then there's also the blending. So smoothies is the blending. I usually recommend that people do blends, so smoothies instead of juices, because you're going to get all the fiber in addition to, some of the sugar, where sometimes juicing, you get too much sugar. But with the smoothies, that's correct. So I usually tell people, hey, here's a great way to start. Here's what I do. Let's try it out. See how your body feels when you try that smoothie. What kind of fruits do you like? What kind of greens do you like? And then you tweak it. I mean, gosh, I probably tweak my smoothie, at least every few months. And then I find one I really love, and I may drink it every day for a while and then tweak it pretty often. The main thing, though, with smoothies is that I do recommend that people make them on their own because you want to know that you're going to be getting you're not going to be adding a bunch of preservatives and things to it. And ideally, you want to be using all organic fruits and greens. So, giving you an example, mine would be I use, frozen fruit because I like to throw it in there instead of ice. So I'm doing strawberries, banana, just one banana, blueberries, maybe some frozen mango. And then I love spinach, so I'll add a couple cups of frozen spinach and then some type of nut milk like almond milk or cashew nut milk. And then I'll add in, often a plant-based, so soy and dairy-free protein powder and a few other superfoods. So it's just kind of something you'll play with over time. And when I work with people, I can give lots of examples and recipes of, hey, here, what about try this and try that? But the key here is that my program will help empower people to where they can then take this on their own and, really modify things as they go and your body changes.
What are some of the challenges you found? Now, clearly, you and I are talking about fatigue, so we know a little bit about it. We also know there are some challenges, right, with all of this.
Yeah. Well, when you asked that question, I kind of thought of my personal challenges, with my own journey. And then, of course, challenges that I know that some clients have faced. So, personally, a lot of the challenges that I experienced is, the inconvenience of our modern life. So, we are, as people who want to be healthy, as people who want to eat well and to feel good, we're often kind of combating the modern world that we live in. So my old job where I was constantly traveling, working in sales, it was often very inconvenient to eat well, and it was difficult when I was traveling to be able to eat without, consuming gluten or dairy or some things that I needed to avoid. So that was let's call it an adventure, but it was, an obstacle. And when you're committed enough and when you start to feel better, it's worth it. You realize, hey, any inconvenience is worth feeling better. But I would say that was a challenge. Also, our society socially, we're often encouraged to just indulge, eat whatever we want. You'll feel better tomorrow. But, some people don't feel better tomorrow. They may suffer for several weeks if they don't eat well.
Oh, I know for me, that's the case. I mean, even sort of accidentally, if I'm not mindful where I go to eat and what I'm putting in my body. The other thing I want to talk about when we come back, too, is, when we use the Fatigue Warrior program, what other benefits can it give us? And what I mean by that is, what are the short-term results and what can we expect long-term? Let's take a short break, everybody. Get ready, get reinvented. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Tune into the wisdom of your soul for guidance on living a joyful life. On Soul Wisdom Radio, Wendy will provide inspiration to raise your vibration and connect with your higher self and guides. Learn how to balance your ego and to progress spiritually on Soul Wisdom Radio with Wendy Rose Williams. Visit wendyrosewilliams.com or Transformation Talk Radio to learn more about a healing session with Wendy and her events and publications.
Thrive is what we experience when our mind, body, and soul operate as one. When we thrive, we excel on all levels. Thrive is the mindset that matters. It is essential to our being. Have you ever found yourself looking for the instruction manual on how to thrive? You'll find everything you need to help you feel strong, powerful, and peaceful in your own body. So don't waste any more time. Visit thrivebyjen.com today.
Brand consultant Jen Morgan is here with Radically Distinct Radio to help you take control of your future and maximize your brand's power to produce results. Whether you're an individual trying to reinvent yourself and launch a new venture, or you're an executive trying to reposition your company to modernize your sales and marketing programs, Jen Morgan and the RAD Method empower you to play to your strengths and show up in the world as your most powerful brand. To learn more, go to jenmorgan.com. That's Jen with 2 N's, Morgan.com, or call 206-972-5366.
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Everywhere I go, the more I see, the less I know. But I know one thing, that I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you. No, I'm not a highly metaphysical.
Yeah, everybody, welcome back. So great to have you tune us in, turn us on. Thank you so very much. We're talking about fatigue, and we're talking about becoming a fatigue warrior. Not about learning how to do it for a quick fix, but what if you could learn something, become the fatigue warrior, so that the people in your family too can become fatigue warriors. They never have to deal with it in life. You know what it's about, know how to make adjustments, and literally catch it before it becomes illness. And that is important to know about. Angela, we're going to talk about the Fatigue Warrior program, and you're going to tell us a little bit about it. But that also answers my question that I asked before the break, too, is if people know what it is to do, then what's left to do is simply to do it. So tell us about the program. Tell us about how it can help us make these changes and move past the obstacles we see.
Yeah, so the Fatigue Warrior course, it is unique because it's going to teach you how to boost energy naturally, but without any extreme dieting or medications. So, there are some other programs or other recommendations out there where it's like, hey, follow this really strict diet or this strict detox or cleanse or really strict lifestyle changes, or maybe there's some medications that you can take. This is really going to teach you how to naturally make some lifestyle changes and habit changes from every area of your life we're going to touch on in the course. So we're going to start out with diet and really work on adding in foods that are going to boost your energy, really eating more of a whole foods diet, but there's no really strict diet. So I'm not necessarily saying, hey, you got to follow this specific meal plan. So it's going to be some general guidelines in the course in the home study portion. But then when we work one-on-one via email and over the phone, that's where we can really fine-tune the diet that works for you. Once we work through diet, then we'll start looking at more of the lifestyle, things like exercise, looking at relationships, maybe even looking at career. And again, not because all those things need to be changed, but really looking at every area of your life and saying, what are the areas that are helping really boost your energy? And what are the areas that may be, kind of sucking your energy, for lack of a better term? And, I'd have to mention also things like toxicity in our environment and in all of our cleaning products and personal care. It's important whether you have adrenal fatigue or if you just feel low energy all the time, it's important to, look at your personal care products and look at your environment. Yeah. Look at the water you drink and make sure that's not draining your energy as well.
I made one change to the water about 8 months ago. I got myself a machine. And I had known about the machine for 10 years, never got one. And then finally, my friend brought over this water, and I started to drink it. And within 3 weeks, I started to feel better. I mean, isn't the idea to really work through, especially with this program you have, to look at the changes you can make so you can get some results? You know, for me, that water changed the way I felt in 3 weeks, right? And I'm sure that I'm not alone in that. Isn't it the same thing with the people listening? Maybe sometimes it is to drink more water, because I know we don't drink enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some baby steps that you want to start with. Drinking more water, reducing caffeine. Doesn't mean you can't ever have coffee, but, I would recommend that people, avoid soda, but, really increasing the water and decreasing things that can, kind of quote unquote suck your energy, like caffeine or, alternative sweeteners, those types of things. And, the thing that I see with people that work with me on fatigue is that immediately within a week, they say, wow, my digestion is working better. I have more mental clarity. I don't have that foggy brain. I have more energy physically. I'm able to, go to the gym and feel like I can make it through my workout instead of feeling exhausted. And so sometimes that's as soon as the first few days. And then long term, those symptoms, those symptoms start to subside. A lot of those, maybe it's bloating, maybe it's digestive issues, maybe it was more mental clarity or just feeling completely exhausted. And when you think about it, when you feel exhausted all the time, it affects every area of your life. So, your relationships will feel better. Maybe your job and your work will become a little bit better. Your whole world will change when you're no longer exhausted all the time.
Well, and this is really what we're looking for. It's kind of like the idea that you mentioned earlier, like the frog. These changes can help people actually go through their day with more ease. I hear this from women especially. I don't really know how the men do with this, but women especially are juggling so many things right now. And Benny, I know, does the same. I know he juggles and wears a lot of hats with the boys. But the bottom line is, we have to make a contract with ourselves, Angela, that we have to take care of ourselves, and we're just not good at that.
Yeah, I agree. Women are more prone to fatigue, yet we keep it a secret. So even if we sense something is wrong, at times we just keep plugging along. And the female listeners probably know what I'm talking about, and probably the guys too. You just don't want to say anything. And we now know that 80% of Americans will experience adrenal fatigue at least once in their life. So, that's why I created this program. I said, why aren't we talking about this more? Why isn't this something that, we're really working towards bringing more into balance? And, there often isn't a comprehensive solution for people available to really help them to heal naturally and bring their body into balance naturally. And women keep it a secret because they don't know what to do. And so that's why I created this Fatigue Warrior program.
Would you be able to tell people again how they can find out more about it?
Yeah, of course. So people can learn more and also register for the course at fatiguewarrior.com. And I also have a free download. It's kind of a sneak peek of the program. It's my 5-step solution to fight adrenal fatigue naturally. Great read for you to kind of get started. And it can be found on my main website at angelawatsonrobertson.com.
Okay. Let's just talk now about what we want our listeners here to take with them for today, because we've talked about a lot. But I think the most important thing is knowing that you can start somewhere, and the Fatigue Warrior helps people start somewhere and also not alone, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'll be able to work one-on-one with them so they can take this course. It's a home study course. They can take it in their own time. There's no deadlines. You don't necessarily have to do anything at a certain time. You can do it from your computer or your iPhone. It's all videos and PDFs and links. And then I also, in addition to that, work one-on-one with clients over email and also Skype. So for 3 weeks, we'll do calls together. For 3 months, I will be available via email. And then I also include, when you subscribe to the course, I include a month's supply of the 4 supplements that I recommend that anybody take for optimal health, but it's going to really help somebody who has adrenal fatigue. And, the bottom line with this course is that I help you make your fatigue work for you, not against you. And what I mean by that is that if you have fatigue, if you have adrenal fatigue, no reason to beat ourselves up over it. It's a message. It's a message that something may need to shift in your life. And so it's, I'm kind of, your midwife to your new life to help you reinvent. And maybe adrenal fatigue is, kind of that message from your body saying, hey, that something needs attention. And maybe it's diet, maybe it's your career, maybe it's relationships. And that's why it helps to have somebody really in your corner as a coach, helping hold your hand as you go through the process, in addition to giving you all of the information that you can learn, all the research that I've gone through.
I love it. Angela, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for today. One last question, personal message. What would you like to leave us with, please?
My personal message is to, not give up. So if you really are feeling fatigued and you're feeling hopeless and you don't know where to turn, there is help out there. I am here to really help you, hold your hand as you go through your reinvention, whatever that means for you. And so if you're feeling really exhausted and run down, reach out for help. I'm here for you.
Angela Watson Robertson, everybody, the Reinvention Warrior. Yeah, and we're going to hear lots more from Angela as well, Masters of Reinvention. Hey, everybody, we're going to take a shorty. We will be right back. Another great show coming up for you. Stay tuned.
You've been listening to Masters of Reinvention with Angela Watson Robertson, the ultimate guide to changing your life. The only show on the radio to bring together top transformation experts who will show you how to positively change your life, along with expertly researched nutrition and lifestyle advice. See all of the Reinvention Warriors programs and free wellness tips at AngelaWatsonRobertson.com. Experience powerful life reinvention coaching and learn to beat fatigue naturally with our new program, Fatigue Warrior. And be sure to tune in to Masters of Reinvention each month on Transformation Talk Radio.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.